Maybe you'll be.
Hello, how are you guys? Thank you. Look at that. That thirsty guy. Oh, I'm sorry. It's blocking me away. How are you, Evan? Okay, yeah. Feeling okay? Excuse me. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Me too.
Everything's long at this time of year.
Because it starts so early.
Organization when it's first.
Then it gets work so quick.
Because
The weather's been sucky. You just want to crawl. I go home, put my pajamas on, and call it a night.
No, and it's so crazy because I felt great yesterday, and then because it went cold and overcast, and I'm like,
Yeah, you want to get out of bed.
this is quite the selection.
I
hit up my Halloween candy.
Interesting.
Instead of taking it from your
I even
kids,
wore my lone Christmas tie. 'Cause it's the only meeting we have before Christmas.
Pardon me?
So I wore my lone Christmas tie before. 'Cause it's the only meeting we have before.
That's right, you need to
It
wear it.
reminds me I have to wear my Christmas sweater tomorrow.
I have an N of 1. But I'm eating Halloween candy.
No, it's not much to discuss.
Where's that? Let's see.
Right.
Third.
Well, candy canes are okay. In small doses.
Tabs.
Yeah, because they get those little slits in them. Yep.
Yep.
Because like the one color dissolves a little faster than the other. Especially because they get them all sharp, and then you. That's what we used to do as kids. We'd suck on and get them sharp, and then stick each other with it.
Yeah. Great.
Are you?
I'll go back.
Do I do anything for this reorg? Or is this just the board? You guys doing it? Do I read this one? I guess I do it, right? We didn't practice this one.
I know, right?
The reorg?
Oh, good. We're doing the legislative first, right?
I don't know.
Scavengers.
That's what we do is it is so I'm going to preside over the reorg. Thought we could put
Which meeting are we going to do first?
The reorg first.
Okay.
Oh, okay. They collected them from. You have to do the reorg. Or is it called? I think I should start with just organizing.
Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed. Apologies for our tardiness. I call to order the reorganization meeting for the Woodland Hills School District for December of 2018. Ms. Pugh, will you call the roll?
Mr. David Graves?
Here.
Ms. Charlene Seligson?
Present.
Mr. Jeff Hanchett? Ms. Ava Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Ronna Curry?
Here.
Dr. Jeff Hildebrand?
Here.
Ms. Paige Strasbaugh?
Here.
Mr. Mike Belmont?
Here.
Ms. Jamie Glasser?
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of the student who was lost in a car accident before Thanksgiving. Thank you. That will move us into board matters. Mr. Harris.
Okay. Board Matters 2.1, appointment of temporary president.
Is there a nomination for a temporary president to facilitate the reorganization meeting?
And I'm Jamie Glasser.
Second.
Can we?
Generally, for the temporary president, it's
Mr.
the solicitor.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
For that,
if you
yeah.
I nominate John Vogel.
nominate is that
Second.
okay?
I would like to nominate John.
Okay.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
All right.
This is why I don't nominate stuff.
Mr. Vogel is the nominee. Take the vote on that. Ms. Pugh, will that be a voice vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was the second? I got the first as Ms. Johnson.
I was.
Second.
Thank you.
All right. Great.
Okay, Mr. Graves?
The regular format.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mrs. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Ms. Strasbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes.
Thank you. Now for the power. Next is, more importantly, is the appointment of board president. Are the nominations for board president?
I'd like to nominate Jamie.
Second.
Anybody else? Seeing none, move that entertain motion for nominations be closed. Someone make that motion.
So
Second.
moved.
Second. Okay, moved and second. All those for closing nominations say aye.
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 All right. We have one person nominated for board president. That's Jamie Glasser. A roll call vote, please.
Miss Alexson?
Yes.
Miss Johnson?
Yes.
Miss Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Miss Strasbach?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Miss Glasser?
Yes. Thank you all. Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to the appointment of the board vice president. We'll entertain nominations from the floor for
Yes,
vice president.
I would like to nominate Mike Belmont.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further nominations? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the nominations?
So move.
Second.
Okay. And we'll take a vote.
I'll wait first. All those in favor of closing nominations say aye.
apologies.
Aye.
All right. Now the vote. Roll call vote.
Thank you.
Miss Johnson?
Yes.
Miss Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Miss Strasbach?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Miss Alexson?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Miss Glasser?
Yes. Okay.
Congratulations.
And that moves to 2.4, which is the acceptance of the meeting dates for 2019. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those at this point. We will have a meeting in July. The meeting on the 20th of November is not the night before Thanksgiving. I did double check that. Yes, it is not. So does anyone have any questions? Well, I guess, is there a motion to accept the calendar?
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbaugh, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the calendar as presented? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote.
I was taking paper. I forgot we had that in there.
Did you? I didn't get. You didn't get anything. Was it a yay or a nay? I'll just mark it. Is it yay or nay? I'll just mark it for you. Okay, thank you.
Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to consideration of the committee meeting dates. Is there a motion to accept the dates as presented?
The time's changed. It's 5.
5 o'clock.
That's at the request of administration. So,
I have a question.
I need a motion
Yeah,
first.
you need a motion.
Apologies.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any, okay, now questions?
Right. So times are going to be at 5.
That is the calendar as presented.
They were changed by a former president a couple years ago. They were 5 before that.
They've been at 6 lately, haven't they?
Does anyone have?
The dates have been adjusted so they don't conflict with open house
And the football banquet.
and the football banquet.
No, athletic banquet.
Athletic banquet in May. So we've adjusted to make sure we don't conflict with those dates
There was
on a
discussion.
traditional basis.
There was discussion of having. I have 2 comments, questions. For any given first committee, it looks like there's community relations is listed twice, which could be a typo, I suppose. And then there was also a request that facilities and athletics committees happen on the same day. Are we not doing that? Are we able to honor that request?
That was my question.
What was that?
Facilities and athletics on the same day.
Is that how you want them?
That was a request from
That was
the
a request, and
administrators.
we.
Yeah,
Corsi,
Mr. Corsi and Mr. Finney were hoping to make that change, as I understand it.
Okay, didn't get to us then. Yeah,
So-
we can make that. We can reflect that.
Okay.
So would they both be on Monday or Tuesday? or Tuesday and Wednesday, whatever they are.
They would be
Tuesday,
on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
They'd both be on Wednesday.
And does that mean we move policy to the other day to just even balance it out, or are we going to keep policy? That's what we did last time. We
Yeah.
moved the policy.
Yeah, we flipped one. I think it was policy and athletics, actually.
Yeah.
So are we going to flip them now, or are we going to keep policy where it's at?
We certainly could do that. We can amend the calendar. If someone wants to make that motion to amend to switch athletics and policy, we can do that.
I make the motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Oh, we just talked about this.
Okay. You second?
I did second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks. Dr. Hildebrand, Mr. Strasburg, are you amenable to that as a friendly amendment? So we
Absolutely.
can. Okay. All right. So then we can vote on the.
Okay, so we're going to do facilities and athletics together on Wednesday. And policy on Tuesday. Okay, and then correct the community relations.
Yes. Lots of community relations, which is a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is there a preference on time?
I thought
Or
we
can I
had.
ask administration exactly? Is that a preference for you, or what?
It's just that some of the meetings are running late. It gets us here a little bit earlier, so we're not here so late, so we start an hour earlier.
Yeah, I think the problem was some of us were coming from work, and it was hard for us to get here on time. So we had moved it back that hour.
Time doesn't matter to me between the
fine.
hour, but I want to know if it's up to the rest of the board members if they have a preference on those times, and I wanted to see what administration's reasoning for making sure it's at 5, and then we can at least have the discussion. That way,
The length of the
I
meeting
don't really
can
care.
go until 9.
9, 10 o'clock.
And they still may go that long, it's just now we have an extra hour of meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it still may go.
I think another one of the reasons for moving the meetings to 6 o'clock was so that more members of the community
can we get there?
and make it 5:30. It doesn't really make a difference to me personally.
I have no preference. If someone wants to make a motion, we can.
I make a motion, we leave it at 5, or move it to 5.
Well, that's the calendar as proposed. So if someone wants to amend the calendar as proposed, we can entertain a motion for that.
Can we, I don't know if this will count, but can we just have timers for each committee? I think maybe it's be courteous to.
I'm for that.
Okay. I'm fine with the time. Just is like kind of be mindful that we're not running over one committee's taking up an hour and another committee gets like 10 minutes.
In certain committees during certain times of the year,
Yeah.
it's like Christmas season, between certain times, certain programs, policies, committees take more time because of what the curriculum is going to take more time in the spring while we go through that, where facilities
Time going forward with the projects.
and athletics will start to dwindle down a bit as we get through the school year.
Maybe we can budget each month and set time each month that would work.
And make sure we're getting our agenda, because that's not something we've been
Yes.
receiving. Like, let's see your agenda first. Give us an idea of how much time you're going to take, and then we can all kind of an idea how to schedule. I'd appreciate that.
Yep.
All right. So is it safe to assume everybody's good with 5? All right. That's good.
Okay. That being the case, we'll take a vote on the list as amended to switch the committee's schedule, but leave the time. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. And finally, for the reorganization meeting, there's a proposal to name Tucker Arnsberg as the solicitor for the coming year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion on the engagement letter?
So this is nothing personal. How long was the original contract for?
Normally, I recall when we were appointed 2 years ago, we didn't have any set contract.
Okay.
And also, I mean, if you decide tomorrow morning you want to go a different direction, you can do that. I mean, that's, but I think what happened, so initially when we were appointed, there really wasn't anything there, but really to standardize things, that's why we issued this letter and also a slight change in our rates. So, again, last year, I think you may recall, we were literally in the audience being voted upon.
Yes.
So, any further questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our firm enjoys serving as solicitor for the district and look forward to it in 2019. Thank you.
Okay. So that concludes the agenda for this meeting. With the board's consent, we'll wait for public comment until the end of the legislative meeting, if that is amenable.
Good idea.
That being the case, is there a motion?
Yeah, if I can make take out on it. I think that's what the board wishes. I mean, there will be an opportunity to talk at the end. If you really want to talk now, fine, but this is the reorg meeting for the public. So it's a reorg meeting, so it's just internal business. But as Jamie said, probably it's going to be the better form at the regular meeting. So.
Okay. Seeing no objection to that, is there entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that will move us into the legislative meeting. Okay, Ms. Pugh, will you call the roll?
Mr. David Graves?
Here.
Ms. Charlotte Charday Seligson?
Present.
Mr. Jeff Hanchett? Ms. Ava Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Ronna Curry?
Here.
Dr. Jeff Hildebrand?
Here.
Ms. Paige Strasbaugh?
Here.
Mike Belmont?
Here.
Ms. Jamie Glasser?
Present.
Is Steve here?
I'm sorry?
Steve here? My computer went down.
Yes. Steve, we are having a computer issue. Okay. Does anyone have feelings about whether we should do this Pledge of Allegiance again? I think we've already done that, so we'll skip ahead to acceptance of the meeting minutes for November.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions or adjustments to the minutes from last month?
No, he has them all.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote to approve both the agenda setting and legislative minutes.
Voting yes for the minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, completely lied to Jessica.
I just need the password, right?
Oops. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Nothing is working today.
Is there any capital?
Yes.
Okay.
Ava.
Yes.
That should work.
I did. You can see, you saw it when it popped up.
Still on reorg.
I know. I just said to you,
All right, are we having a...
Pardon our technical difficulties.
Go back to the first one. I switched.
see, you already got the motion, but it's not up there.
No, you want to work it?
Did you stop the other meeting?
I did. See, there is no other meeting. Oh, you know what? Let me Review from feature. might help. I'm still in this meeting. Too many meetings, okay.
Okay.
Reorg.
Did the board approve it?
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah. I've seen good pictures of them shown or at the high school.
Legislative. Get out of the reorg. Please say yes. Legislative. Why is it not there? It's right there, but it won't come up there. See how it's all right there? Let me just write this down in case I need to I'm going to get out of it, go back in again. Page start meeting. Okay.
We're at the high school, right?
Okay, legislative. Launch meeting. Start meeting. Jeff is not here.
We could hold it off against that check.
Full board.
Nothing already doing that.
See, it might be screen.
It was not a good surface to play on.
Ms. Peel, did the vote come through?
It did come through. I'm sorry. It was unanimous.
Displaying
Right,
now.
right.
Everything's working on our computers. We can't get it display on the.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
You can go ahead
Just
to
announce it.
If you go ahead through, and we'll be
Okay.
we'll be good.
Can you announce the outcome of the vote, though?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was unanimous.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously to approve the minutes. Thank you for your patience with our technical issues. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss legal, personnel, and security matters. Mr. Harris, that moves us to announcements.
Okay, I want to say congratulations to Montgomery Brown, who was selected as runner-up to the Edgar Snyder and Associates My Holiday Wish Coloring Contest. She won a $2,500 donation to the school, and for herself, she won a $100 Visa gift card. See the cartoon, the coloring that's there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So congratulations to Montgomery.
Also want to make it known that funeral arrangements have been made for Miss Melanie Moran, who passed away, a second grader at Wilkins Elementary School during the Thanksgiving holiday due to a car accident. The viewing will be held Friday, December 7th between 4 and 8 p.m. at the Odell Robinson Jr. Funeral Home at 2025 Perrysville Avenue in Pittsburgh, 15214. And funeral services will be held Saturday, December 8th. Time yet to be determined. Pentecostal Temple Church of God in Christ at 6300 East Liberty Boulevard, East Liberty, PA 15206. That's all the announcements.
Okay. And again, our sympathies to Melanie's family. Are there any other announcements? Yeah.
So the performing arts class is having their show on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the high school. I believe that's 7 o'clock.
That sounds right.
So I would go. It's always fun.
Indeed. Okay. Anyone else have announcements? Okay. Seeing none, that moves us to student speakers. Do we have student speakers this evening? Yes, please. Feel free to come up. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Just give me 1 minute. I didn't prepare any PowerPoints or anything, so I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
I guess I'll just get started. Hello, my name is Cheyenne Mayer. I am a student at Woodland Hills High School and a varsity rugby player. I'm a little nervous. I've come to this meeting today on behalf of the rugby team, both boys and the girls. Before we get started, I would like to tell you a little bit about us. We are a club sport. It will be the girls' second year, and the boys have had many years being with Woody High. With that being said, the girls' first ever year and season was last school year, spring of 2018. The girls had a great first season with a record of 4 games won and 3 games lost. One of the winning games, our girls, including me, beat the other team with a score of 61-0. On the other hand, the boys' season didn't really go that well, but we still love them, you know. Going on to the topic at hand, I have come today to ask the school board to help fund our club. The boys and girls have been through so much this past year. One of our main issues was rides. We have practice every Tuesday and Thursday, but in the beginning, it was all right to practice on the soccer field at times we wanted to. We could practice, get home on the bus, you know, and then as time went on, other sports who I guess you could say came before rugby had the field before us, which we understood. So we would practice. Sorry, I lost my place. Where did I go? So we would practice later, and as time went on, it just got later and later to the point where half of our girls and boys didn't have rides to the school. So I keep losing my place. I'm sorry, guys.
You're okay. Take your time.
And that became a serious issue, not only during the practice, but during our season as well. If we had a game, we would have to carpool to each and every game we went to. Now, mind you, there was about 17, and at the time there was like 21 boys who all had to fit into maybe 3 cars. At that, we travel really far sometimes, and that became a huge burden on our coaches, who are like the nicest coaches in the world. They're like great. Also, during our season, we had to fundraise for pretty much everything. We had our uniforms, our registration, etc. We would try to ask for help from the school, but we were just kids, so we never knew how to go about it. We would talk to the principals, the athletic office, but it never seemed to go anywhere. But throughout all the problems we faced, we still made it through a great season along with the boys. We can still have our pride. We still have Woody pride, but the rugby team could use your help this year. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. That will move us to presentations. Mr. Hall, welcome back.
Hi, so about 2 months ago I proposed my Eagle project, which was a bridge for the cross-country team, and with over 100 service hours, 22 volunteers from both the school and my Boy Scout troop, I finished the bridge on most of the construction of the bridge on November 3rd. The bridge was used during the turkey trot by the runners. And also, in addition to that, for the project, we cleaned up the outdoor classroom and cleaned up about 5 garbage bags worth of trash from the woods around there. So, I'm just asking for your approval of my project before I have it signed. I have a quick presentation.
Sure.
This is the, before the bridge was built, that's the stream the runners had to go across. This is the outdoor classroom after it's cleaned up. And that's the bridge completed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the work, and I think everybody saw the pictures, so it looks like a
Turned
job
out-
very well done.
Turned out great.
I apologize that as I was running across it, I felt really bad getting it all muddy. But seeing the creek, I'm very much glad that the bridge was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, and my daughter helped out, and she was like, "I didn't even know we had an outdoor classroom," and neither did I. So hopefully now they'll actually use it. That would be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So thank you again for the work. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks for being here. And congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Hall, as well. Thank you for what your son did. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Hall? Okay. That will move us on to Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. Here to present the audit. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review the draft. Our opinion on the draft is an unmodified financial opinion. That means everything in there we believe is materially accurate. I want to say I personally work with 16 school districts out here in Western PA, from Erie City schools, Mill Creek up in the north, to schools down here, Mount Lebanon, Penn Trafford, Gateway, Hempfield, a lot of them. I was just sitting here thinking about it, and you are the only school district that I work with that prepares their own financial statements. So that's quite an honor. You're very close to kind of having that next step in terms of where your financial statements are, which is a CAFR. You're pretty much there. There's only probably a couple schedules that need to go in to kind of get you to that point, which can help bond ratings and things like that. But the district and the staff, Mike and his staff, do a great job. It's one of the better school district audits we work on, probably the best one. One of the things I'm always proud to say when I come here, we have no audit adjustments, which that's rare most of the time. As a result of our audit procedures, we have audit adjustments, which means we have findings. So we look at controls throughout the audit. We look at controls when we look at all the federal dollars in particular. We had no findings related to the controls or compliance, from the state and federal guidelines. So that was good news. A couple highlights. When you look at your statement of net position, I believe it's a deficit position of about $86 million. All schools are sitting in the same position you are. A couple years ago, if you remember, I've talked about the net pension liability came on, and the other post-employment benefit liability came on. Well, right there alone, there's two liabilities added in the past few years. That's $120 million. So it's going to set you in a net deficit position because you don't have any assets to offset those. You look at school districts, your current year general fund expenditures are about, your general fund unassigned fund balance is about 8% of your general fund expenditures, which is okay. That's not alarming. That's not great. It's okay. GFOA typically looks to have it in the 8 to 12% range. For a school district, though, that's good. I mean, when you look at your budget, when I look at your budget, you don't control much of it. Most of it's mandated. That's how it works. When you look at, like Mike and I were talking about, what's kind of happened in the last 10, 15 years and what's going to happen in the next 5. You look at your contribution to the PCERS. 15 years ago it was under 5%. This year, a little over 32.5% per teacher. That's costly. When you look at it that way, you look at urban schools typically have high charter school cost. I think there was an increase in transportation costs this year, so you're weathering those storms, I think, as best you can. You're continuing to upgrade your facilities. I think there was 3 new debt issuances for upgrades of facilities, I think somewhere in the $55 million neighborhood.
Yeah, we're
and there was
right. There's still more to come, but
but so far there was 3, and there was also a small note issuance for a refunding of a future payment. So I think you're staying on top of what you can do in the marketplace to keep up with the infrastructure cost. Revenues were pretty similar one year to the next. Expenditures were up. I mean, every year we just talked about transportation goes up, salaries and benefits go up, contribution to PCERS goes up. But again, you're weathering it. You're still at 8% unassigned fund balance, which is okay at the moment. They're really the biggest changes in the financials this year. So, any questions?
Does anyone have questions for Mr. Johnson? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. That moves us to registered speakers. I don't believe there's anyone registered. Ms. Puhle, is that correct?
There is none.
Okay. That moves us to board matters. Mr. Harris.
Okay, Board Matters 2.1. Third and final reading of Policy 201.1. We seek approval of revised Policy 201.1, registration, proof of residency requirements.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions on this policy discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. And that moves us to 2.2.
2.2, second reading of Policy 907, volunteers.
We'll vote on this next month. Any questions at this time? Okay. Seeing none, that moves us to personnel.
Okay, Personnel 6.1, Section B, authorization for retirements, resignations. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Curry, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions that we'd have to go into executive for that, but if there's anything, can we just do that? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to food service, transportation, and safety.
Okay, Food Service, Transportation, Safety 9.1. We seek approval to accept the Tri-Mark CoStar's compliant quote for the turnkey installation of the TAFCO walk-in cooler and freezer at the Woodland Hills Academy at a cost of $86,927 from the Food Service Fund 50.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions or discussion on this item?
Yeah, so do we know how long will the installation process take? Is there we going to be down like any sort of...
Siobhan's coming.
Yes, I saw that.
I do not have the exact number of days, but it will not be done until the summertime because it is too long for during the school year.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. All right. I hadn't noticed it. Maybe I missed the date in there. And I
No, there
apologize.
is no date in there.
Okay. So the one we have will be functional at least?
We keep limping it along, but we do need to. There will be ultimate failure. We did have failure last year when we lost a lot of commodities because the freezer shut down and we lost a lot. So that just keeps happening. It's just the point of no redemption. We'll just keep limping it along through the end of the school year and get it fixed.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Okay. I'm good.
Yeah, okay.
Good, thank you.
Okay. To be clear on the funding point, Mr. Gigliotti, the funds for this come not from the general fund, but from the food service fund.
The food service fund 50.
Yeah, so that is not out of the, it's out of the revenue from the food service program,
It's
correct?
out of the revenue for the food service program, not taxes.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That will move us to buildings and grounds.
Buildings and Grounds 10.1. We seek approval for the use of facilities by outside organizations for the 2018-19 school year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions on the outside use list? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 10.2.
10.2, we seek approval to advertise for bids for the replacement of the high school water main.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions or discussion on this?
Yeah, where is this? Is this like the down over the hill again where the one this summer was? Or is
Yes,
this...
we had another water break last week, and we feel it's better to move this project up. It's part of phase 1 that will be going out to bid in a month or two. But if we can, we're going to pull this out and get it done as soon as we can, following basically the same path. We're going to have the engineers, civil engineers, going to be in there looking at it to give us the path, but it's basically going to come up through the woods and into the building under the roadway. But we need to replace it. It's giving us problems now.
So what's the status of it now?
It's up and functioning.
It is functioning. Okay, that's what I assumed, but okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to legal matters.
Okay, legal matters 11.1. We seek to convey the district's 1/3 interest in lot and block 302-J351 and lot and block 302-J-358, both of Talbot Avenue, Borough of Braddock, to the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County for $1.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions or discussion on this transfer? Okay, seeing none, take the vote.
It's unanimous. It's just not.
Motion carries unanimously, I'm told, which moves us to school finance.
Okay, school finance 12.1. We seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the November 14th, 2018 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions on the ratification list? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 12.2.
12.2, we seek approval of the December 2018 bill list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions or discussion on the bill list? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 12.3.
12.3, we seek permission to pay reoccurring and contractual bills received by December 7th to be ratified in January.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions on this request?
I assume this is just like water, heat.
This would be
Yes.
any invoice that we received through the 7th. This meeting is so early that
Right.
we're trying to cover our normal vendors, especially our contractors, because I didn't get one invoice till after we got this posted, and I wanted to make sure the contractors were paid and not have to wait an extra month when have to put up with their browbeating for that time period.
Is this an effort to avoid penalties that we might have to pay?
This is just to keep our vendors on our good side.
Okay.
Because normally we cut off, like this Friday would be our normal cutoff of invoices that we list. Well, not this Friday, but like Wednesday would be our normal cutoff. So I just want to have the same time frame so that any invoices received up to that date we pay and we'll put on to ratify. It's not like we're going to pay anything that out of the ordinary. It's just we need to. I just want to make sure that we take care of our vendors.
Okay.
We would do this in the summer. For July, if we didn't have a meeting, we would ask to pay the bills so that vendors wouldn't have to wait 2 months for you guys to come back for a regular meeting. So just to keep on a normal timeline, I'm just trying to because there'll be a couple bills that might come in from the vendors. Okay. We already have authorization to pay utilities, insurance,
that's
contractuals.
Right.
So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 12.4.
12.4, we seek approval of the budgetary transfers for December 2018.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Curry, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the transfers?
Yeah, which bleachers were repaired for this?
He's pulling them out of the budget for bleacher repairs at the high school, the folding bleachers.
Oh, okay. So
he's anticipating not to spend as much as budgeted there. He needs it in plumbing and was it both plumbing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He needs dollars in the plumbing.
Okay, so this is in the gym. I was thinking bleachers like football stadium, soccer stadium, something like. Okay.
Yeah, there's still funds to cover anything that might arise.
So we're transferring this to plumbing.
To plumbing.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, all right.
It would be any bleacher, but that's our biggest one right now, trying to keep those electric bleachers opening.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions on the transfers? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 12.5.
12.5, we seek acceptance of the fiscal year ending June 30, 2018 Independent Auditor's Report for informational purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions on the audit? Mr. Johnson has left, but we can try. Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
And we accept them for informational purposes so they become part of the minutes as an exhibit. Otherwise, that's why that's in there like that. Otherwise, they don't show up in the, it's part of the minutes.
Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to Assistant Superintendent.
Assistant Superintendent 13.1, we seek approval to enter into a contract with Dr. Kenneth Bowen for a continuous improvement support proposal in the amount of $1,700 per month for 3 months, for a total of $5,100, with a potential renewal for 2 more 3-month renewals.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions on this proposal?
Yes, I looked at that, and when I'm seeing the agreement, it says execution date to be determined. When I'm looking at the contract execution, it says an annual contract negotiated at the end of each year from the execution date. That has to be changed to match up the what we're saying in the motion. So, I mean, my suggestion would be, keep the motion I guess keep the motion, but then we just have to modify the agreement and and run it through you for signature.
Should we say, do you want another chance to review it? Do we need to?
No, I think that's the approval. It's just
Okay.
that whatever we execute is going to have to match what that motion says. So.
Okay. Is that, Dr. Penniman, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
It's what's written here that we're going for, not the annual renewal.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a chance to renew it for a few months as if necessary.
So 3 months with a potential for the total length being 9 months at most. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll change that. So okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a little confused as to what's the genesis of this proposal and who is Dr. Bowen?
So, Dr. Bowen is a consultant. He was a former assistant superintendent, high school principal, etc. And I thought we had his bio attached to the very first submission when I first submitted it, but I'll get it for you. So right now we have to pretty much rebuild the 7 through 12 program, schedule, etc. And I solicited his help because I know of his work to help us with everything listed here. Because the 7 through 12 program is a very robust and arduous task going ahead with everything we have to do. And so with Mr. Clausen and then having to review and rebuild all the other things, enhance all the other things in the district, I solicited his help with that because he has, I know of his expertise with scheduling and everything listed here.
And he'll be doing it remotely.
Oh yeah, virtually, yes.
And what budget is this coming out of?
Curriculum.
From curriculum?
Anyone else have questions?
I do. Is it all virtual? The application?
It's virtual unless we need him to come, but because of my knowledge and Mr. Clausen's on, we can just work with him virtually, and where we can look at Skype or whatever we need if necessary. It's just to help us to build, and then we will give the training later on as far as for the teachers and how once the schedule is completed.
Does anyone else have questions? I see in the contract that there is a provision for in-person at $400 a day.
If necessary.
Yeah. Do you anticipate any of that will be necessary?
Not the way things are going right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. No, okay. I don't think so.
Okay. What kind of reports can we expect? Updates?
Sure.
Monthly? I mean, when can we?
Yeah, monthly. Okay. It'll be a monthly report.
Okay.
Of what's taken place, what we've done, and it'll be a monthly billing.
Okay. Who all will be involved in the conversations with Dr. Bowen?
Oh, it's the union. We have a team of teachers. Mr. Harris, myself, the principals. It's a team approach as far as teaching and learning curriculum.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, if we could get updates on this during the curriculum committee meeting, that would be spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Okay.
Great.
Any other questions? Anybody? Okay. Seeing none, I'll take the vote. Motion approved 7-1, which moves us to superintendent.
Okay, Superintendent 14.1. We seek approval to accept a $1,500 donation from the USA Dance Chapter to be allocated to the Intermediate Ballroom Dance Program.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Sorry, who made the motion? Okay. Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Okay. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 14.2.
14.2, we seek approval to accept a $6,000 grant from the Pittsburgh Foundation to support the Advancing Science for Underserved Students program and the purchase of a complete laptop cart, including 20 laptops and one each of the associated modules and sensors.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions on this?
So is this an addition? Didn't we? So we got this grant already. So this is
An addition.
it's an addition to the other one that we got.
Yes.
That one had that had a computer card in it too, and everything, didn't it?
I think they wanted to give us more.
Not okay, that's
I think it was a two-part deal.
Yeah, it's more.
No, I'm perfectly. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't like voting on the same thing twice or whatever.
No, this is a totally separate one.
Cool.
Okay. Always take the
Well, congratulations to whoever wrote that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bigger one. We have a bigger one coming next month. Cool.
What are the associated modules and sensors?
Steve?
Modules.
Well, Jim's back there.
Oh, okay.
There, as part of the grant last year, there are actual sensors that they use, like physical sensors that they use to conduct the science experiments.
just says to let me know approve acceptance. It would be nice.
They're actually using the
Sciencey things.
laptops to gather the readings and sort of data. So it's a combo package.
Thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which concludes the agenda, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any old business? Any new business? Would anyone be willing to present a motion to approve the Eagle Scout project? I think Mr. Hall requested that we do that.
I make a motion to approve Mr. Hall's Eagle Scout project.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Belmont. Can we take a vote on that, Ms. Pule?
Yes. Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Ms. Strasburg?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Okay. Thanks again to Mr. Hall for that. We don't have reports this month. I'm sorry, is there any other new business? Okay. We don't have any reports this month. Although we did have committee meetings, we will not have committee meetings again until after the January meetings. So we will hope to see everyone there. Unless there's anything anyone wishes to report from the board. Okay. Seeing none, that'll move us to public communication. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? Okay. Seeing no one, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Johnson, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Is there any all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Thank you all. Everyone have a very happy and safe holiday season. Thank you.